Well, I'm on the farm today, and thought I might do a few chores, but it appears to be a washout. So I thought I'd just do a little hay update, and I'm just going to kind of wait and see if anybody joins, and then I'll kind of get started. Hello, who's out there? Raining here on the farm. Hello, sitting here in the car. It's pouring down rain. Steady drizzle. Hello, hello, hello. Who's out there? Raining here on the farm, and hey Cole, how's it going? It's dry here. I'm just kind of hanging out. Hello, who we got? not expecting much participation on this live feed, just kind of an impromptu deal. It's raining. I was going to do a few chores outside, but it's raining. I was going to do a few chores outside, but kind of rained out right now, so I just thought I'd prop my tablet up in the window and plug in and do an impromptu live feed. I mean, we got rain, but it's really dry here. I just looked at the map. I just looked at the map on the drought map for Virginia, and it's showing out towards Lynchburg and Tidewater, on down into North Carolina, kind of near Greensboro and down in that way. It's showing that it's pretty dry, and the drought monitor saying that the drought monitor saying that it's not drought, but it's abnormally dry, I guess is what I'm saying. So don't be deceived. Don't be deceived because there's rain on the windshield here. But it is knocking me out of a few chores. I think some people are cutting hay already. I think some people are cutting hay already. We're not ready to cut hay. We probably could, but our yield would be down. So I'm inclined to wait, not only for a little more growth, but also I'd like to have some better weather. Even though it hadn't been raining, it's been cold. I think it was like 45 degrees this morning, and heavy dew. I've baled enough hay in October and November to know what that's like. I don't know that I want to cut and bale hay and wrestle with it here in the spring when it's so cold. Is anybody cutting hay out your way? We're seeing a little bit. We're seeing a few people cut hay, but it's mostly just people chopping hay. So anyhow, everything's kind of greened up, and we got a lot to do. I'm not sure when we're actually going to get started making hay, but we're kind of getting locked and loaded and ready. I still got some equipment to grease up, and yeah, I think a lot of people, Cole, I think a lot of people are, I think that's what they're doing is wrapping hay. I saw some hay being, chopped for silage. It was probably rye or winter wheat, something like that. But we don't have any of that here. We're just mixed grass. We have no legumes, but it is something I am pondering possibly planting a little bit of alfalfa. I've never grown alfalfa, but I'm thinking about a couple of fields, maybe rotating out of grass and into alfalfa. I'm kind of interested in some Roundup Ready alfalfa. And the idea there is, you know, whatever weeds and noxious grasses that are moving into my Timothy fields at maybe over a period of a couple of years with some Roundup Ready alfalfa, I can clean up the field pretty good. Just leave behind the alfalfa for a straight growth. You know, as far as straight alfalfa and our customers, I don't. I've never really had a conversation about alfalfa with any of our customers. Uh, you know, I don't know of any of my horse customers that feed alfalfa or ever have. What they do know is it's kind of rich and maybe a little bit much for an easy keeper horse. But there are other people that want alfalfa in square bales that they're they even a lot of people with cattle, they want some square bales around. They always need they always need some square bales of hay to feed a cow. They got you know separated off. I don't know, maybe it's a calf that they're having to bottle feed, or you can just kind of fill in the blank. But I do think there's a market for straight alfalfa square bales. We've just never grown them. The nearest thing we've had is clover. We used to grow a lot of clover on this farm, but we fed it out to our cattle. And cattle and horse hay are two different things and two different customers. So, we really didn't care if we really didn't care if the hay was a little dusty or not. The cattle didn't care. But certainly the horse people do. So, along with alfalfa comes, we kind of got to ask ourselves, is the market for alfalfa the horse customer or cattle? And I'm not sure the answer to that, but we're definitely pondering alfalfa, Roundup Ready in particular. One thing I don't know, one thing I'd like to know, and I haven't really got a definitive answer, but I'm curious how long. I'm curious how long. Hey, Jared Farms. It's raining here. It's raining here. I'm kind of got a washout, even though it's dry as a bone. It we're having some showers this morning, and I think it's going to linger into tomorrow. So I just figured I'd set up my camera and chit chat a little bit, kind of impromptu, and so we've been talking about alfalfa, maybe planting some alfalfa up here, rotating a couple of fields out of grass and into some, in particular, Roundup Ready alfalfa. But I'm curious, one of the things that I haven't had any feedback on, I'm kind of seeking the answer on it, is, how long does a stand of alfalfa last? I know you can't go in and reseed because of autotoxicity, but I'm just kind of curious how long a stand of alfalfa will last, because I think it's kind of expensive to grow. It brings a good price. I wouldn't have a problem if I could make alfalfa in square bales and get a pretty good chunk of change for them. Wouldn't hurt my feelings to have at least one long-term alfalfa field. I mean, is anybody on here growing alfalfa at all? I'd be curious as to your comments about it. And then the other thing I'm curious about is people that have like real life experience using using a impeller conditioner on alfalfa. Hey, Stinson Farms, Western Kentucky. That's kind of a long way from here. Not an alfalfa expert. We haven't had any for years. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect. I'm trying to read comments. I'm not really sure what to expect with it. But the goal is, multifold. I'd like to fix some nitrogen in the ground. I'd like to be able to hammer some of the weeds that we get that seem to come into our fields. If anybody ever has a chance, you should watch Michigan Hay Sales. Michigan Hay Sales. He's got a good channel, and he put a video out this morning I watched, and he was talking about the seed quality or lack of seed quality, and I'm telling you, we're seeing weeds on this farm that we've never seen here in in my lifetime, and I think that it's because it's coming in with the seed. We put down seed, and I think we're getting some crap that's coming in with it. So you can't spray 2,4-D on a grass and expect it to kill it, and you can't spray. Timothy's pretty sensitive to a lot of herbicides, so you got to be careful with that. And so it just seems to me that maybe if a nice straight stand of Roundup Ready alfalfa might be a good tool to realize some revenue, and also maybe clean up these fields when we rotate it back into grass. So I don't understand alfalfa because it's got this autotoxicity, and how back in the beginning days of alfalfa, how did it spread? If I don't understand how alfalfa survived, when it was first introduced, or when man first found it. How did it grow by rhizomes or anything like that? I don't know. Yeah, that's the question I've got. How many years can you expect out of alfalfa? And I don't know the answer to that. It'd be nice to be able to get a stand that would last about 7 years, and it's. I think you have to. I think you have issues with alfalfa with these leaf hoppers, and root problems. It's not a. I don't think alfalfa is a hay that is you baby a whole lot. But so my question is, if it grows through its roots, spreads through its roots, how can it thin out? How does alfalfa thin out if it spreads through its roots? I'm not quite sure how that works, but I'd like to know. Bermuda grass, Gerald Farms. I would like to grow Bermuda grass here. I think it's I like Bermuda grass. I went to to the University of Georgia to a hay and short course. It's been 3 years ago probably, and of course, University of Georgia is really into Bermuda and Tifton, what is it, Tifton 44, Tifton 99, all these different varieties. And I like it that Bermuda, you know, I like the way you sprig it. I like the way that it'll patch over ground. You know, it sounds like you can hit that stuff with herbicide. It'll take everything out except the except the Bermuda. I think it makes pretty good hay. Some horse customers don't care for Bermuda. I'm not sure why, because you know, I guess when you get on south of us, where it gets really hot, you know, it thrives. So it's not like you can, you know, it's not like, hey James, it's not like you can just run out and get a bale of Timothy. You know, you get down into South Carolina and Georgia, you know, where it's really hot. I can't imagine that you'd be running out and getting you know, a bale of Timothy, just because we're right on the edge of the heat tolerance of the grass to start with. But so that, you know, people have to be feeding Bermuda, and so I like it, but I don't think it'll grow here. I think that Bermuda, I think our cold winters and, you know, freezing temperatures would render a stand of Bermuda, uh, you know, I think a I think a stand of Bermuda would get killed out by the frost. Yeah, that makes sense that you know, the stand would get old, and of course we you know, we we overseed our Timothy. James, 7 years would be great if I could get 7 years out of alfalfa in a productive stand. That definitely piques my interest. And I don't know. I'm just kind of pondering the options here. Another thing that's intriguing about alfalfa is evidently some people plant it in the spring and they glean a harvest off of it through the summer. You know, seems like you know, with Timothy and orchard grass, they don't lend themselves too well, I don't think, you know, to plant in the spring, especially Timothy. And you plant it in the fall, and you know, you may or may not get a decent yield off of it the first year. But sounds like alfalfa. I get the impression some of these farmers, you know, they'll rotate out maybe corn or something like that, and they'll plant alfalfa. And you know, I get the impression it's their expectations that they're going to get a really good yield from the get go. And so I don't know. Again, I'm curious as to anybody's uh, experience with alfalfa, and particularly impeller conditionings. Our crone is an impeller conditioner. We still have the Heston uh, sickle mower conditioner with it's got steel on rubber rollers. It's a very the roller combination on that Heston is very effective, and it's durable too. You know, you don't see a Heston mower conditioner with chunks of rubber missing off the roll or cracked up real bad like a you know, like a New Holland. Spring planting would be good. I would Spring planting would be good for alfalfa because it gives us a chance to work, you know, through the winter, clearing off some of our fields, and so in any event, as far as the haying goes, you know, again, I'm seeing a few people cutting hay. I think a lot of people are really chomping at the bit to get in the fields and start cutting, and some people are. They're you know, they're cutting for silage, and then there's a few people I know that are cutting squares. One guy in particular, he's up in Northern Virginia. he's cut orchard grass for square bales, and but he had to put hay preservative on it. It was borderline, 18%. I'd say on average, and he used I think he uses Hayguard, uh, which is, I believe, is different. We use buffered propionic acid, which has a pH near water. It's not like the old stuff that would just rust through your equipment. And we get it from New Holland. I think it's all made by, I think it's all made by Harvest Tech or somebody like that. And John Deere, Agco, Massey Ferguson, New Holland, they all sell the same thing, but the but they have their own name. I think New Holland is called. I can't think what it's called now, but in any event, we buy it from the New Holland dealer because they don't charge us any shipping. Some of the other places do. We have found buffered propionic acid to be very effective at allowing us to get up hay. We rarely use it. It's like an emergency. It's like an emergency. It's like an emergency thing that we do. The thing about it is with you know the thing about it is with hay is some horse customers, I can't say mine, but some horse customers, they'll say we don't want any hay with any hay preservative on it. And the funny thing about it is buffered propionic acid is formed in the hind gut of a horse, and so it's a natural occurring substance within the horse, but they don't want to put it in the horse. But but that same customer, they won't buy hay if it gets rained on because it turns yellow. It's been washed. Some of the nutrients are washed out, maybe a lot. So, what choice do we have? We can save the hay and the hay quality with a little bit of acid, and we can sell it at top dollar, but we can't sell washed hay at top dollar. And so if the customer's not going to buy, they don't want you to use preservative, and then they don't want to buy the hay that got rained on. I mean, either way, we're out of a customer, so why not use the buffered propionic acid? And but the guy in Northern Virginia, he used preservative on his hay and made some square bales. The other thing people have been talking about are hay prices, and the guy in Northern Virginia, he got about half the yield, and there's another fella I know, his yield was close to half of his yield. And Cole, I read a lot. Most of what I read about impellers is people say they knock the leaves off, but on the other hand, there are people that are adamant that they can get alfalfa just like with rolls. Some of it I think has to do with how you set it up. For example, you don't have to run the conditioner down onto the tine hood, and then on some of these mower conditioners you can reduce the RPMs. I think on our Krone we can just flip a lever and it'll go from like 900 RPMs on the impeller roller down to 600. What I don't know and what I don't understand about alfalfa is how easily is the stem bruised, or the waxy coating come off of it with an impeller. Obviously, when you put a crimp in it or crush it with a roller, that's a different thing. But the impellers, you're supposed to it's supposed to be rubbing the waxy coating off of it, and I just don't know what that waxy coating is like on an alfalfa stem, versus just straight grass hay. And but maybe that stem is very, very delicate, and it doesn't take much to knock it off, knock that waxy coating off. And so in some ways, when people start saying, well, you slow the RPMs down, and you slow the RPMs down, and then you open your tine hood up, and then I'm wondering if you're getting any conditioning at all. And so, other than having a disc mower out in front that doesn't clog like a sickle mower, uh, what's the point of conditioning in the first place if you got everything opened up and slowed down? But again, I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. Not sure, what we'll do as far as potential alfalfa goes on this farm. But like I mentioned, the two people that I know personally that have cut hay already, their yields are down probably close to half, and that's because it's just been so dry. And even though it's raining right now, this is kind of a opposite. It's opposite of it was last year. Last year, I guess if I was sitting here doing a live feed, it'd probably be, um, it wouldn't be raining. But any other time I set the camera up, it would be raining. And so uh, we this will come and go. I think it's going to rain tomorrow, just off and on, and maybe on today's Sunday. I think maybe Tuesday. But I'm kind of inclined not to cut until Memorial Day and maybe on into June. I'd like to see my Timothy come on in through the orchard and fescue that's kind of grown in. I'd like to I'd like to see it come on in, and we get quality hay, whether we cut early or later with the Timothy. Our hay quality tests out pretty good either way. And but I guess where I'm going with all this lower yield that people are getting is, I don't want to. Sometimes you can have a hay shortage, and there's still a lot of carryover, but we could see some tightening in the hay market, and I know some of the guys that I've kind of networked with, they're already talking about raising prices because of fertilizer and diesel. Just seems like everything's getting more and more expensive. So, uh, it hadn't been too long ago. People were selling hay for $3 a bale, and um, there's something else going on too. With square bales, at least around here. It used to be you could buy an old New Holland baler, a 273 or a 68 or something like that. There used to be, uh, it used to be the 24T would, John Deere 24T and 14T were plentiful. We're not seeing too many of those. On the price of alfalfa, certainly I would price it pretty high. Straight alfalfa, it's expensive to grow, and particularly if it's Roundup Ready alfalfa, it's I want to get the return on my money, and that seed is really expensive. But the 24T, John Deere, the 14Ts, I mean those, the New Holland 273, 268, Model 68, 69 balers. Those things used to be plentiful, and people had these little farms, and they'd put them on the end of a Massey 135 or a Ford 3000. But just the years keep going by, and you buy a baler for $500 or $600, and then you're faced with buying a set of needles that you broke that might cost $200, and you know it don't take long for people to just decide I don't need to make hay anymore. So not only are there fewer people making hay, but I think there's fewer pieces of used equipment out there to make hay with, and so more, and more people are going to round bales. I'd say around here, uh, I wouldn't be surprised. 98%, maybe 99% of the hay that's made around here is round bales, and so most of my hay customers, I wouldn't say all of them, but I'd say most of my hay customers, they can't handle a round bale. They you could throw one up on a truck. I don't know how they get it off, and then I don't know how they feed it out. They just don't have. They don't have. They don't have the equipment. Their compact tractor, the front end loader on their little Kubota BX won't handle 1,000-pound bale of hay, and so they have to go with squares. And the horse customers I have, it's kind of interesting. Beef cattle. It we see these really we see these pictures of these cute little calves in the field, and the ugly truth about cattle is, the day a cow's born, its destiny is a slaughterhouse, and which I get all that. I'm not making a statement, one way or the other, but these horse people and goats people that I get, they're really passionate about their animals, and that's some people are tight with a dog or a cat, and some people are just real tight with their horse, and it's like a member of their family, and so they they spare no expense in a lot of ways, especially with veterinary services, to take care of their horse. And so they're not going to get rid of the horse because they can't. If they can't handle a round bale, they're not going to get rid of a horse because a square bale's too expensive. They're going to buy square bales and kind of ride the market with it. I mean, the bottom line is, whatever hay we sell off this farm, a square bale of it doesn't cost. It doesn't cost nearly as much as hay you would buy at Tractor Supply or somewhere like that. The ones that really amuse me are the customer that says, they say that's too much, and then they go down to Tractor Supply and they buy a 40-pound compressed bale of hay for $20. Yeah, if we could get $20 for a bale of hay, that would be a square bale of hay. That would be unbelievable. I'm just surprised it's still raining. I thought it might break off a little bit, but it's still raining. We need a good rain here, and if hay might be in short supply, to the extent that our grass can fill out, especially down at the ground level, then that would be good for us from a yield standpoint going into a tight market. So, like I said, I'm gonna kind of wait here. I'd like my Timothy to come in more. We plant two kinds of Timothy. We plant Claire and Climax, and Climax comes in a couple of weeks later than Claire, and we do that on purpose so that we don't have all our hay on the ground at one time. If we planted all the same thing, it might be difficult to get everything down and up when it all comes in at the same time. And but I think I am going to plant a little bit of teff grass over there next to my barn. I had thought earlier, actually earlier today, about not doing that, but I think I'm going to. But again, I reserve the right to change my mind. So, all right. Well, has anybody got any questions? I'm going to kind of wrap this up, and I'd be glad to answer what I can. And before I kind of shut things down, I might get out in my barn and try to pedal around and make some kind of progress on something. But this would be a good day to, roll up to it's about 50 degrees outside, according to my car thermometer. This would be a good day to roll up to a wood stove and throw yourself in a recliner and have a nap. So anyway, we're getting busy. We're about to get real busy on the haying, and those of you that jumped in, I appreciate it. Kind of an impromptu live feed, and so we'll kind of wind it down. I hope everybody has a good day. We'll talk to you later.